What's up, guys? Lane and Trish here, and welcome to our show, Real Talk Live with Lane and Trish.
Hey, 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 everyone. Hey, happy holidays. It
Happy
is
holidays,
almost
everybody.
Christmas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're a week and a half away from Christmas, and we've enjoyed a couple of near 80-degree days here
Yeah,
in
it's
San
like spring
Antonio.
around here.
But hey, tomorrow, or by Tuesday morning, in the next couple of days, it's going to be back in like the 20s.
I'm looking
So
forward to it.
it is
It needs to be.
roller coaster
It's the
weather
season.
around here. But it's the most wonderful time of the year.
It is, it is.
You know, my favorite part of this time of the year is
Traffic?
the traffic. Definitely not liking the traffic.
It's so bad here in San
Yeah,
Antonio.
it is
Yeah.
crazy. But
Yeah.
I know everyone's out doing their Christmas shopping. As much as they say everything's gone to online shopping, you wouldn't believe it by all the people out hustling and bustling.
Yeah, I think people still like to get out and you can go out to eat and go to a movie and go shopping and do all those
Christmas
things.
parties,
Yeah,
lots
Christmas
of
parties.
festivities. Yeah.
I know we've had a lot. We've been out almost every single night. It
Well,
seems
there's
like
always
to
events.
different
There's industry events.
Yeah.
There's friends and family and all kinds of stuff like that. So it is a fun time of year.
It's a whole lot of fun
Yeah,
for the most part.
but and lots of travel. So,
Yep.
who's planning travel? Are you guys going out of town for Christmas? Are you staying in town? I know traveling takes quite a bit of planning to get everything put together and get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, that can be stressful as well. Seeing all your family members and
We,
in-laws
we
and
haven't
all that good
decided.
stuff.
We're behind on deciding if we're going to go anywhere. So we may last minute put together a quick trip to Florida to
Yeah, we
see
may go
some
to
of my
Florida.
family. So it would be last minute, and it wouldn't be very well planned. And planning is actually what we wanted to talk with you guys a little bit about
Gotta
today.
play with the plan.
First thing I want you guys to plan on is if you're in San Antonio or anywhere near, this coming Wednesday, December 18th, is our 9th annual ZNR Winter Coat Drive Holiday Event Party Happy Hour, all of
Can't
the
believe it's been
above.
9 years. Yeah.
We do it every year. It's to benefit SAM Ministries here in San Antonio, which is a local organization that's all about overcoming homelessness. And we gather up anything and everything we can, new, gently used, spread the warmth type of items,
Yep.
coats, jackets, scarves, blankets,
Gloves.
socks, gloves,
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. And we have a fun event and let everybody bring it and donate, and then we take it all to Sam Ministries. So this year, our event's going to be at Pick's Bar, which is on 1604.
Pigs is awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
near Lock Hill, Selma, and it's in far north San Antonio, so on the north side of San Antonio. And it's a really awesome venue, so it's a whole lot of fun there. We are taking over the whole place from 4 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday the 18th. And if you come and bring a donation of either an item for warmth or a monetary donation for the same ministries, your first 2 drinks are included.
2 free drinks.
And we're
Can't
going to
beat
have
that.
some awesome food, a taco buffet, if you will, from Taco Boulevard. So
Yep.
food, drinks, there'll be raffle prizes, there'll be silent auction, there'll be a photo booth, there'll be lots and lots of fun, awesome people.
And Taco Boulevard, they have some
Their
amazing
food is
so
amazing.
really, really
yeah.
good stuff. Yeah.
And if you use your 2 drink
Yeah.
tickets and you want to get more drinks, Pick's Happy Hour specials are off the charts
Amazing.
awesome. So
Yeah.
so we hope that you'll come out and join us. We hope you'll bring your friends, invite your coworkers, come join us at Pick's. The more the merrier. And if you have any questions, just message me. Reach out. I can make sure you have all the information. But
Absolutely.
it's always a fun event, and we do hope that you guys are going to join us. But speaking of planning, this is a big one. We just finished up this last week having our 2020 business planning workshop with some agents here in San Antonio. And it's one of those things that it's kind of hard to do, to actually put together a business plan on how you're going to run your business for the following year. But it's so important to not just have those dreams, not just know what your goals are, somewhere in your head, or write your goals down even, but you've got to put a plan
You gotta
in
have
place.
you have to have a vision, sort of a map of how you want your business to be in the future and how you want your family life and everything else to be. And,
Well, it's like a
going forward for the new year.
roadmap, if you
Yeah.
will. We talk about travel plans and stuff.
Yep.
You wouldn't plan a trip to go somewhere without a destination in place, first of all, or how the heck would you ever know when you got there?
Yeah.
But you first put your destination in place, and then you have to figure out the logistics of how you're going to get there. And it's the same thing with your goals, and it can be business goals, it can be personal goals. You've got to put a plan in place, and then you've got to execute that plan. So you have to know what steps are gonna be needed to take in order to reach those goals.
Yeah, Tony Geary has a really really good quote. I was actually just reading in one of his books. I think it was yesterday, and it's the real issue is success and getting superior. The real issue in success is getting superior results, which always begins with the vision. That's Tony Geary, and having a vision, having a plan is sort of the same thing almost. And so it's super important just to kind of look at what you did over the last year and get that perspective. And that way, you know exactly how to plan out, the
Well, I think
coming year.
the vision's the first part of it. You've
Yeah.
got to understand what you want
Right.
it to look like ultimately in the end. And that's, what level of success you want to reach, whether it's an income goal or a quality of life goal, or, if it's a big personal goal, which I know we're working on a huge personal goal this year.
Yeah, that's a pretty big goal.
Working on a ZNR, baby.
ZNR, baby.
And
Let's see.
we've had to put a plan in place.
Yep.
I always thought, making babies was supposed to be fun, but
Yeah.
the fun part's diminished a bit, and science has to come to play, and there's
To get pretty
more
scientific.
doctors involved and stuff than I originally planned. But hey, we've got a plan in place, and so
Yeah.
now we've got to execute that plan.
Yep.
But it's
Very
the
true.
same thing with your business. So in real estate, for example, like what we talked about at our business planning workshop was, you got to go, okay, what amount of income do I want to make for 2020? And why do you want to make that? You've got to know what your expenses are. You've got to know what it takes to run your household. You've got to take into consideration what it takes to run your business as
Yeah,
far as
absolutely.
marketing and, any expenses that you have. And then you've got to go, okay, so in order to reach this goal of income, how many transactions do I have to reach that? And in order to do that, you have to take into consideration, what your expenses on your transaction. That can be your broker splits. That can be, anything else you've got out as far as marketing. How many transactions you have to do to reach that number. And then you go, okay, well, now I know I need to do 35 transactions. And then you go, okay, how many appointments do I need to go on to have 35 transactions that actually close?
Right.
And so essentially what you're doing when you're figuring out what the plan is, and for me, it's the easiest way to do it, the way I work the best, and the way I think is the best for everyone, is to work backwards. So figure out the big end goal.
The big audacious
And then,
goal.
then you
backtrack.
work backwards.
Yep.
So how many contracts do I need? How many appointments do I need to go on? If I go, what percentage of my appointments actually turn into contracts? And, in our industry, it's usually probably some, depending on your skill level and everything, but say it's 25%. So for every 4 appointments you go on, you'll get a transaction.
Right.
How many conversations then do you need to have to get to an appointment? In this industry, they say it's
40
an average of 40 to 50.
depending on.
And obviously, that's different per
Yeah.
person, and you may
And your skill
know
level,
your
yeah.
number. Yeah. And it's important to look back at your last year and look at your numbers and put those numbers in place. So then you go, okay, so I have to go on this many appointments to get this many, contracts, which means I need to have this many conversations. And then you go, okay, so per day, this many conversations. And often what we find is, even though you're going, oh my goodness, 50 conversations and this, I have to have, this many conversations a year, it usually boils down to like 7-10 conversations
Yeah, 7
a
to 10,
day
something like that for
to
yeah,
reach,
pretty big income. Yeah.
Well, when we did it and we ran numbers at our workshop for $100,000 a year and worked it backwards, and it was like 7 conversations a day, meaningful conversations about real estate.
Which is very doable. You look
to
at
make
those.
$100,000 a year.
You look at those big goals and they seem unattainable, and then when you back it out and you actually get it down to what you're looking at each day, what you have to accomplish each day, it seems minuscule.
Well, that was working only 5 days
yeah,
a week, and we
yeah,
all know a
yeah,
lot of realtors
very
work more
doable.
than 5 days a week. So, working it backwards like that makes it a lot easier for you to understand what you need to do and puts your course of action in place. But it also takes the stress off of you of seeing an entire year's goal and an entire year's worth of actions at once, and just what do I need to do each and every day.
Yeah.
And I love this quote by Brian Tracy. It says, a clear vision backed by definite plans gives you a tremendous feeling of confidence and personal power.
I love that.
And the
That's a good
reason I
quote.
like that one so much
Yeah.
is because that confidence and that personal power is what's going to drive you to take the next step and to complete the course of action that you're on so that you can get through each of the necessary steps.
Well, yeah, it's sort of the psychology behind it. I mean, if you're putting a plan in place, that you're something you're looking at every day, you're proving to yourself that you're serious about, achieving your goals. And I think that's huge.
Well, and it comes down to what we talk about a lot, which is, are you interested or committed? So,
Right.
You've got to go, okay, what is it going to take to reach this goal that I have? Am I truly committed to seeing through and following through with the necessary steps to get there? And I think that's really where you start to weed out who's interested and who's just, who's only interested and who's actually committed.
Interested or committed.
But then
Yep.
also within your own goals or the things that you think you want in life, you figure out maybe that's not that important to me, because if you can truly commit to something, it is important to you. But if you find that you're not willing to do what it takes to get to something, maybe that's not one of your priorities, and maybe that's something that's not that important to you, and you can put that on the back burner and really focus on the things that are important to you.
And one of the things that's huge for me whenever I'm setting my goals is having those milestones that you hit, like having a monthly milestone and having a quarter to quarter, and that way you're on track to hit your goals. And then every time you hit one of those milestones, you can have a kind of celebrate a little bit.
You got to celebrate your wins
pat yourself on the
along
back.
the way.
Yeah.
It's not all just about the end goal.
Right.
The journey of getting there is full of small accomplishments that you can celebrate with. Don't celebrate by getting yourself off track.
It happens.
Figure out ways that you can celebrate that doesn't derail you from being productive.
Yeah. At least not for too long.
Yeah. So, and I know there's so many different quotes out there about planning, and Benjamin Franklin has one out there that by preparing to plan to right. Well, let's see. Actually, no. I actually like the one Alan Lakin. He took it from preparing.
He's got some good quotes.
To planning,
Yeah.
and it was failing to plan is planning to fail.
Yep.
So if you don't stop and put a plan in place, essentially you're creating a plan to fail.
Yeah, there's sort of a plan in place whether you actually sit down and do it or not. And if you don't have an actual one in place, then you are, I guess by happenstance, sort of failing.
Well, and you gain
Yeah.
so much by the process of planning and by preparing. And even, when you jump out the gate and start towards, some big goal, if you've spent time ahead of time planning and preparing, that time goes with you no matter where you go. Even if you get off track a little bit, or even if things change a little bit, the time you spent preparing is invaluable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of those things too, like some people have these goals that are just, obviously if you want to buy a 60-foot yacht this year, a lot of times for most of us it's not going to happen. So like
Not this year.
You get into sort of the feasibility. And so if say, okay,
You're
that's
not
your
getting
goal,
a
and you
60-foot
back it
yacht for
out,
Christmas?
and you back it out, you know what I mean? You can't talk to 60,000 people a day, obviously.
There's not
so
going to be a
you're-
60-foot yacht under the tree for me?
Maybe it's coming. It's not this year, but yeah, you understand the feasibility of your goals pretty quickly, and furthermore, you can really, when you get into your marketing plan and your budgeting, which is after you do your business plan, you can say, okay, well, if I'm going to do this many more transactions or whatever it is, real estate listings, then I can budget. I know what my budget will be for those listings, and so you can really put together your marketing plan and your actual budget a lot better if you've come up with a business plan.
Well, and if you do it consistently, meaning like consecutively every year, and even if you haven't done it before, start this year. Each year you're going to be able to better plan and better predict what you need and better predict what course of action you need to take.
Absolutely.
Alan Lakin, another one of his quotes, and I had never heard this quote until I kind of started looking into things for this show. Planning is bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it now. And that just spoke wonders to me. I was thinking, because we all talk about the future and the things we want in the future. The best way to, predict the future is to create it. And we all talk about that. And so planning gives you the ability to more control the future right now.
Yeah, you're just being proactive, having a plan, and that way you can better gauge what your future is going to be like. So it's pretty interesting, concept to look at it that way.
Yeah, and the more you can be proactive and not reactive, and not just running around putting out fires, just the more you're going to move forward, the less stress you're going to have, and just overall, it's a much better environment to live in.
Yeah. I mean, when you're playing with a plan, I mean, your stress levels go down, considerably. You're going to sleep better at night. Everything gets a little bit better, and a little bit better is a great thing.
A little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better each time you do something.
It adds up over
being
time.
a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's super important to carve out the time that you need to plan. Now, don't overplan. That's another thing too. Don't get paralysis by analysis by spending so much, always planning and never taking action. So taking action is one of the big parts of the reason you plan, because you then know what to do. I always talk about, having the goals, having ideas, execution is what's key. I always say it, and excuse my French, but ideas are shit without execution.
I couldn't agree more.
The best idea in the world doesn't mean a thing if you don't execute. So the plan.
We were talking about having a plan the other day when we were talking about swimming pools, and how this time of year, a lot of times the swimming pool industry is a little bit slower, but if you get in this time of year and you get set up, you can get your pool put in, versus waiting until spring where everybody wants a pool, and then it's going to take much longer. So yeah.
And then it's ready for you when you're ready to swim.
Absolutely.
You're not starting the planning process while others are splish splashing and enjoying it. So
absolutely.
And it's the same thing, with house hunting. It's the same thing. There's so many steps in each of these processes of the big things we do in life that planning is just crucial.
Got to have a plan.
Got to have a plan. You got to play with a plan. And I know this time of year, there's so much, and it's not even, I will call it distractions, some of it, but it's good stuff, with the holidays and family time. The industries sometimes do slow down. Both the pool industry slows down, the real estate industry slows down. They don't go away. It can make it a really, really advantageous time to get ahead, and definitely an advantageous time to start your new year in an awesome position. I mean, far too often I see people wake up on January 1st
or January 5th.
2nd or sometimes not till January 5th. And they
go,
go,
what do I do?
What am I going to do? Hey, it's a new
What do I do
year.
this year? Yeah.
And this time it's a new year, it's a new decade.
Yeah.
It's the future is upon us.
It's a rude awakening when you wake up, into January some and you don't have a plan. I've done it.
And
I'm
you're
guilty.
not ready.
I've
And
done
you're not
it.
ready. Yeah. And then you're spending the first part of the year trying to plan for the year, while someone else who planned in November and December is ready, and it's hard to catch up to them.
And then you have to watch all their marketing come out, and they're all completely planned. And if you haven't done your planning, then you're just you're behind the curve.
It is important to put a monthly calendar together, put the whole year together for your big marketing pieces, big events, things like that you've got to, have some leeway in order to properly market and properly get the word out for. If you're going to send a holiday card.
True.
It's almost a little late even right now. You've almost missed the boat,
Yep.
So having it in your calendar, if you had it in your calendar on December 1st to get your holiday cards put together and out, you'd be in a much better position than
for sure.
Scrambling around right now trying to, lick a bunch of stamps and get it to someone, hopefully before Christmas and maybe not before the by New Year's. So put those plans in place, put your calendar in place, commit your goals to paper, and commit your plan to, put your plan together, commit to following through and executing on the things that you're committed to.
Very true.
And you know what? You're going to have an amazing 2020. I am more excited about 2020 than I've been for any year.
I'm super excited about the 20s.
I can't think of when I've been
maybe
excited.
since that, when it turned from 99 to 2000. That was kind of cool, but
I don't know about that.
Remember the whole Y2K thing?
College days. It was a different kind of excitement.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are glad that you guys joined us today. We hope you are already having an amazing holiday season.
Yep.
We will catch you on the next show, and in the meantime,
all right, guys, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next show.
bye, guys.
Bye.